Hi guys, how it's going? Well, today we will continue reading this book called Polyglot Notes. And well, the last video was awful, so I hope this could be better. Well, the last paragraph, the last section about this book basically talk about how which are the most important topics we compound the vocabulary of a language. For example, when we want to learn vocabulary of another language, which are the main topics which compound the vocabulary. And well, the next paragraph and the next topic in this chapter says, what are the words to start studying a foreign language? With the basic vocabulary needed to understand foreign speech, there are dictionaries of frequency words on the internet. The words most frequently meet in everyday life, among them lexemes, work, love, eat, walk, sleep, welcome each other. If you have not found the vocabulary of frequency words of the language, if you have not found the vocabulary of frequency words of the language you are studying, do not get upset. You can find such a dictionary in your native language and translate it with the dictionary. However, you will not always find a simple and unambiguous translation for each of those words. You should consider the specific of the language you are studying. You will have to learn the first 2,000, 3,000 words purposefully, and then the vocabulary will be replenished by reading and listening the text in the language you are studying. Well, this is pretty important. Basically, here this paragraph say that you need to study the most frequent words in your target language, and then start to read and apply the first 2,000, 3,000 words in that language to start to immerse yourself in the language. So again, you will have to learn the first 2,000, 3,000 words purposefully, and then the vocabulary will be replenished by reading and listening to the texts in the language you are studying. Each foreign language tutor contains the necessary minimum number of words. Each foreign language tutor contains the necessary minimum number of words to form the basis of your vocabulary. These are the most common words in any language. In the tutorial, they are divided into categories. They are contained in illustrative pictures and subject texts. In the tutorials, they are divided into categories. They are contained in illustrative pictures and subject texts. These include parts of the speech, adjectives, different nouns, numerals, verbs, specific concepts, animals, nature, humans, and also society, transport, professions, clothes, food, house, colors, drinks. Body should also be taken into account. Abstract concepts, for example, days of the week, months, directions, art, technology, places, material, mathematics. Units of measurement should be taken into account. Okay, this is an example about what do you need to learn the appropriate vocabulary to at least have the appropriate mindset and the vocabulary to talk about the most usual topics in a foreign language. The words you need for your work, for example, for travel, business, information technology, scientific field. If you get acquainted with the works of literature and cinematography, consider such factors as culture of speech. Culture of speech is a concept that unites knowledge. Culture of speech is a concept that unites knowledge of the language norm of oral and writing language, as well as the ability to use expressive language means in different communication conditions. In addition to normative stylistics, culture of speech includes regulation of those speech phenomena and spheres that are not included in the canon of literary speech and the system of literary norms of all everyday writing and oral communication, including such forms as colloquialisms, various jargon. So if you read the work of the author, for example, of the 17th century, it will use the culture of speech of this epoch, which is different from the modern one, of course. The language is changeable. Some words and expressions that meant something in the old days today may sound like insults and swearing. First look at modern masterpieces. Refill your vocabulary from there. Okay, and here, well, there is a picture which shows the composition about the stylistically designed vocabulary and all the things that you need to consider. For example, we have the neutral vocabulary and the stylistically designed vocabulary. We include books, official business, scientific, conversational, and vernacular. One of the author's acquaintances of these lines studied German classical philosophy by works in the original language. One of the author's acquaintances of these lines studied German classical philosophy by works in the original language. He once wrote a scientific article or philosophy in German and sent it to a German university for publication in a scientific collection. In response, he received a letter informing him that the members of his editorial college. In response, he received a letter informing him that the members of his editorial colleague had read his article and found it scientifically interesting. However, the article was written in Old German, which is a language that few people understand and absolutely no one speaks. Okay, basically you need to take care about how you use the words in the present, like in the modern time in which we live, because if we try to speak our target language or write in our target language, we need to take care about the old words in which were used in the past, because maybe it could be kinda understandable. So stages of lexical formation of speaking skills. So stages of lexical formation of speaking skills. This is another section. Initial stage. Stages of lexical formation of speaking skills. Okay, this is pretty important. I will give me a break that I will writing here a note. Practical tips. I cannot believe how awful was the last video, by the way. Stages of lexical information. Again, stages of lexical formation of speaking skills. Initial stage. Familiarization with words and their initial practice at the level of words and phrases. To name a word by looking at picture. Okay. I will take it easy. I will say this slowly because I consider this is pretty important. Familiarization with words and their initial practice at the level of words and phrases. To name a word by looking at the picture. Choose a word that does not fit into this word group. To name a word by looking at the picture. Choose a word that does not fit into this word group. Read the words. Compile words combinations from the suggested words. Fill in the blanks in the sentence. Find errors. Guess the word. Okay, that's an exercise, but I find it kind of difficult. Again, to name a word by looking at the picture. Choose a word that does not fit into this word group. Read the words. Compile word combinations from the suggested words. Fill in the blanks in the sentence. Find errors. Guess the word. Okay, basically, you need to hide a word in a picture and try to guess what is hiding, or at least I understand that. I understood that to name a word by looking at the picture. Choose a word that does not fit into this group. Read the words. Compile word combinations from the suggested words. Fill in blanks in the sentence. Find errors. Guess the word. Word processing at the sentence level. Answer questions that involve the use of new vocabulary. Answer questions that involve the use of new vocabulary. Formulate questions to existing answers. Fill in the blanks. Complete the sentences. Connect the disparate parts of the sentence. Paraphrase sentences using word sentences. Those. Work at the level of superfluous unity. Describe the picture using different language and speech games, guessing, description, team competitions, middle and upper stages, repetition of the studied material on this topic, frontal discussion of the topic, conversation, answer questions, draw up a diagram of the topic, selection and repetition of vocabulary on the topic. Acquaintance with the new language material and its material. Acquaintance with the new language material and its initial development. Lexical exercises at the word and word combination level. Language games, bingo, guessing games, board games. Language lotto. Speech exercises. Give your opinion on a question, a statement, a quote, etc. Comment on a proverb or idiom. Prepare a report, message, and presentation on a topic. How to learn foreign words. Make cards with words. It is an old and well-known method. It's convenient and accessible. There are already ready-made cards on sale. You can also make them yourself by writing high-frequency words on them. Thus, you will only need to buy clean cards and felt tips and felt tip pens. While you're preparing the cards, you will remember the words. Creative work promotes memorization of the material. In this way, the cards can be made in any language you are interested in. There are several ways to make cards. On one side of the sheet, we write a word in a foreign language. On the other side, in your native language, test your knowledge. We translate a word from your native language into a foreign language and back. Okay, yeah, basically you have a flashcard, and in the front you put the word or the vocabulary that you want to learn, and in the other side you have the meaning in your native language. This is pretty common. I use this method usually, and I use the application called Anki for this. On the one side, we write a word in a foreign language and glue the picture, and on the other side, it's translation. This method is good for people with This method is good for people with associative thinking. In your mind, you link a new concept in a foreign language to the subject it refers to. In this way, it is better to teach subjects and actions directly in the language you're studying. Try not to translate into your native language. Okay, again, this part. In this way, it is better to teach subjects. This method is good for people with associative thinking. In your mind, you link a new concept in a foreign language to the subject it refers to. In this way, it is better to teach subjects and actions directly in the language you are studying. Try not to translate it. Try not to translate it into your native language. In the foreign language, you should have the same images as in your native language. For example, when you say words lemon, chair, or cup, the images of these subjects will appear in your mind. Yeah, I got it. It's the same method, but basically with images. Instead to put words, you put an image about that object, or an image with contain the meaning of that vocabulary that you're learning, and in the other side you have the meaning in your language. Or at the same time, it could be with the vocabulary, like the word which represent that object or that meaning, but in your target language. And then how in that picture in the front you see the picture, it could be easier recognize or associate that. Yeah, basically it doesn't have sense if you put in the back side the meaning in your native language, because it doesn't have sense. Like, you need to put the image, and in the back side the word in your target language, basically. On the one side, we write a word in a foreign language, but with an English connotation. And again, on the one side, we write a word in a foreign language, but with an English connotation. On the other side, a word in English without context. When you repeat the vocabulary, try to translate the concept from English to foreign language. And if you cannot remember the translation, open the side with the English context. You will quickly recollect the meaning of the word. This is pretty useful. Give me a break, because again, I want to review those topics. On the one side, we write a word in a foreign language and glue the picture. Yeah, this method is good for people. In this way, it is better to teach subjects and actions directly in the language you are studying. Try not to translate it into your native language. In the foreign language, you should have the same images as in your native language. For example, when you say words lemon, yeah. Okay, on the again this paragraph. On one side, we write a word in a foreign language, but with an English connotation. On the other side, a word in English without the context. This is pretty common. Like, you have the simple word, and in the other side we have an example. For example, yeah, I use this method, I prefer this. Or I hide the word that I want to study in a sentence, and then with constant repetition, it could be better or easier by the context to recognize the word which it is appropriate in that context. On the one side, we write a word in a foreign language, but with an English connotation. On the other side, a word in English without context. When you repeat the vocabulary, try to translate the concept from English to foreign language. Okay, when you repeat the vocabulary, try to translate the concept from English to foreign language. So, I like to read. Yeah, this is kind of more difficult, but it's useful. But I don't know. I like to read. Second side. I like to. Oh. Ah, I got it. This is pretty useful actually. Like for example, in the book shows you an example, and for example, in the front side you have a word in English, but with a with the main verb or the main vocabulary in your target language. But in the hide side, in the back of the flashcard, you have the same word but in English. So I like to Z-stack books. Z-stack, I guess, it's in Czech, and in the second, in the other side, you have read the verb. If you have a good vocabulary, then make it harder yourself. On one side, we write a word in a foreign language. On the other side, we define it in the same language as the word. Write synonyms. Write synonyms and antonyms for the concept you are studying. Write on the card not just the word, but the sentence in which it is used. Write on the card not just the word, but the sentence in which it is used. Foreign words are well memorized in context. Okay. Words in the context can be borrowed from the text of the book. Words in the context can be borrowed from the text of the book. Articles, dictionaries indicate the most popular variants of vocabulary. You should constantly work with the cards. Look through and study the studied vocabulary. Periodically change the cards, and after 1-2 weeks return the old ones to repeat the words. Then Leutner system is a method for effective remembering and repeating with flashcards. This method was proposed by a German scientist and journalist Sebastian Leitner in the early 1970s. This system is a simple application of the principle of interval repetition, where the flashcard is repeated at increasing intervals of time. The system is based on observations of human perception and memory made by a German scientist in the 1880s. Hermann Ebbinghaus. He owns the rule. He owns the rule 7. He owns the rule 7. In order to remember something, it has to be repeated 7 times at certain intervals. The Leitner method allows you to structure the information you need to remember and to create a learning system that allows you to put information into your long-term memory. Okay, it's basically this show you how this method works. The method consists in repeating foreign words at different intervals. If the word is successfully played back in memory, the time intervals between repetitions will increase. The method is designed so that after at least 2 months a person can remember a word they have studied. The method is structured in such a way that with systematic lessons, all 100% of the information studied is stored in long-term memory. It is only a matter of time and your work. In the modern world of computer technology, there are programs for memory based on the Leitner method. The program itself calculates the frequency and number of correct and incorrect answers, uses indicators of forgetting repetition, keeps detailed statistics, itself shift flashcards from one cell to another. One of the most popular is Anki srs.net. I use that. Here you can download applications for learning many languages. In addition, you can create your own cards in the application Anki. Yeah. Well, until now, this video, guys, I will continue later. I don't know why, but I feel that my English is awful lately, and I don't know, I feel so guilty about that, and I feel bad, but it is what it is. I will keep improving. I hope so. So see you later, and it was a pleasure. See you in another of my videos.